episode 20. This is episode 20. Folks, this is a milestone for me because according to famous podcaster and author and creator Pat Flynn, most podcasters quit by episode 20. But I'm just getting started, baby. Hey, this is the Monique on the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Monique B. Thomas, and this is episode 20. Today is a solo episode because I have a lot of things to talk to you about. I want to talk about how I started this podcast, how it's going, and where I'm headed. So this episode is more of a personal update because I'd like to keep you up to date on my journey. I've been spending a lot of time talking about other people's journeys, but I want to talk about mine. When I first started this podcast, it was kind of off the top of my head. And looking back, I'm not really sure I wanted to be a podcaster because I really didn't know what that meant. I thought the idea of it sounded cool, but you can't really know until you get into it. I knew that I liked to talk, and I know that I'm good at it. But other than that, I had no idea what I was doing. I had read that it would be good for my business as having a podcast kind of sets you up as an expert in your field. I will say this. There's a lot of pre-production work. I spend a lot of time writing things out and going through I have a podcast outline template, so it sort of helps me to organize my thoughts. Whether it's a solo episode or an interview, I have to know what I'm planning on talking about. And things rarely go as planned. For instance, I had planned on this being mostly solo episodes for this podcast with a few interviews here and there. In reality, I'm doing more and more interviews and less solo episodes, and it seems you, the listener, are really enjoying the interviews based on the analytics. So, message taken, but I still want to do some solo episodes from time to time. Podcasting requires a lot of post-production work as well. There's the sound editing, which I do my best at, but I'll eventually hand that over to someone else who is better qualified than me because that's just not my thing. So it'll be someone who not only does the editing, but what we call sound design. It's like the oral aesthetic of this show. Right now, what you get is what you get because that's what I got. As soon as I can afford it, that's what I'll do. Then there's the show promotion and writing all the show notes and doing the episode artwork. Now, I've never considered myself to be a visual person, but I've since learned my way around Canva. And as I'm using it every single week, I can pop out some artwork every week. So there's that. But the truth is, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But I'm glad I did because it helped me to develop some much needed skills. I'd always kind of been bad at finishing things because I'm a multi-passionate person and I'm always full of creative ideas. Every week, something shiny and new pops into my head, which is great, but highly distracting. I've had to resort to writing them down so that I could stick to my weekly production schedule. Thanks to all of the positive feedback I've been getting from you all, I've made a pinky swear promise to not miss an episode and let you down. Between this and my weekly newsletter, which has now been running for over a year, I've had to organize myself around making sure I deliver the goods. It's a lot of pressure, I'll be honest, but it has taught me something so valuable. That I have the possibility of following through no matter what. I could be sick, tired, and overwhelmed with work, but my newsletter and podcast are going out on time. Now, the true value is knowing that I'm capable, reliable, and that I'm in it for the long haul. There's something more. These are skills that I've now allocated to other areas of my life. As my favorite Queen RuPaul says, whatever you do well in one area, apply that to everything. So I listened. I applied my ability to follow through to my health and fitness goals. Ever since COVID, I've put on so much weight, going from a size 38 to a size 42. Now, while there's nothing wrong with having more meat on my bones, this was a bit over the top. So in January, I set out on a plan to lose roughly 4.5 kilos per quarter. Now, for those of you in pounds, that's about 10 pounds. That may not seem like a lot in 3 months, but to me, it's everything since I haven't been able to lose any weight in the past few years. So I started in January. I started going to CrossFit 3 times per week, and I consulted with a nutritionist. And I've also added in some rope jumping in between those sessions. So I work out about 5 to 6 times a week. And as much as my vanity wants to lose this weight really quickly and get back into those skinny jeans, the more mature me, the one who's running this podcast and the newsletter, wants a real change, sustainability. The truth is, I know I needed to change my relationship with food forever. I've never had a problem with working out, but I always had a problem with what to eat and how much. Put that chip down. Can you see how this one seemingly unrelated change in habits is having a butterfly effect in my life? Anyway, now that I'm 4 months into this podcast journey, I've gained a lot of clarity. I'm so much more clear about who I am and what I aim to project. I also don't care nearly as much what people think about me, which is huge. There's an audience for everybody. Even old orange guy, who will not be named, has an audience. So why not me? I'm also clearer about my mission. I truly aim to empower serious singers through skilled study, mindset changes, and steady action. I'm not for everybody, and that is okay. But back to where I was when I started my journey with this podcast, my Instagram followers have slowly grown. I'm currently at 2,371, which is not a lot, but it's growing organically as I'm not posting as regularly outside of my podcast episode announcements. My email list has grown to just over 700. Again, not a lot, but it's steadily climbing. I'm simply banking on my compounding efforts to speed things up over time. This is definitely a marathon and not a race, which means I have to learn patience, and that is not one of my strong suits. So I'm just keeping you up to date, and from time to time, I'll let you know where those things are going, because I think we often see people who get big and we don't know where they came from. We don't necessarily follow their journey from the start. So that's why I'm keeping you up to date on that. The other thing that has happened is that I have had to put systems in place in order to get things done. I waste less time, which is why you might see me less on Instagram and Facebook, which I think is dead anyway. I now turn off my phone when I have to crank out my work. And I now get up at 6 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Well, that part didn't come from me, though. My oldest daughter, has to be up at 6 to get the bus to go to high school. And she's here every other week. And I noticed that the week she came, I got much more work done and decided to continue getting up at 6 a.m. even when she's not here. So, of course, that means I'm also required to go to bed at a certain time if I want to have access to my neurons when I wake up. Another change is I now have an assistant who helps me with so much. This means I had to learn to delegate, something that I've always been really bad at as well. But I give my assistant, Carla Pulcini, anything that I'm not good at, like proofreading and writing in French, because she is fluent in 4 languages. She's extremely organized, unlike myself, and it makes it so that I can present myself in the most professional way. I also get stuff off of my to-do list that I hate or that doesn't need to be done by me. This enables me to focus on my area of expertise. Remember all those ideas I have? Well, now I actually have time to start and finish projects. I'm sharing this with you not to brag that I have an assistant, but the whole point is anytime you're trying to build something or scale with something, you cannot do it alone. Eventually, any person building something needs an assistant. So from me to you, just a tip, if you're trying to build and you're finding it really difficult and you're feeling overwhelmed, get yourself an assistant. And it might only just be starting with a few hours a week. You can get a virtual assistant. My assistant is in person, which I really love because we can actually meet. Sometimes in person, she'll come to my house and we'll work at the same time. We also have a weekly meeting that allows us to stay on schedule with things and sort of keep up to date with everything. So that's what's been working for me. So with that in mind, here's what I'm looking forward to in the future. I am looking to monetize my podcast through brand deals, affiliate marketing, sponsorships, and partnerships. Yeah, I know. How dare me want to make money off of something that takes up so much of my time and that I offer for free? Come on now, I got kids and I got a sick cat to take care of. So, Yeah, I think I deserve to make some money eventually. I'm also looking forward to all of the wonderful discussions to come. I don't know about you, but I've just really been enjoying these interviews. They've been extremely enlightening. They've been touching. Sometimes they remind me something important that I've forgotten, or just giving me another sense of how to get something done. That episode with Nana Rashid, I think it's episode 18, where she tells us all of the emails she wrote to, get herself booked with a personal project, things like that just really blow your mind. And you're thinking, hey, if she could do it, why not me, right? I just learned so much from all these unique artists. Lastly, I would really like for this podcast to be known as the Singers Podcast. The place where serious singers go to gain valuable insight or perhaps a mindset shift in order to achieve their musical goals. With your support, I think I can get there. Speaking of goals, I just created a free ebook to help singers have a better chance of getting hired. It's basically 10 things you can do to augment your hireability. Is that a word? Hireability? I don't know. I like it. You know what I mean. Hireability. Basically, these are things that I have done over the year that makes it so that I'm on a first call list of singers. So to be honest with you, I rarely pick up my phone for work, and that's a great place to be, especially when you're as busy as I am. And so I wanted to share that information with you because some of it involves learning new skills, but some of it's, common sense that may not be so common. But the combination of common sense and those skills will make it so that it'll be easier for you to get work. So what I'll do is put that information in the show notes. And like I said, it is absolutely free. I did this for you. So as this episode 20 update comes to a close, I just want to leave you with a few thoughts. Remember that you have skills that you're using in certain areas of your life that you can absolutely apply to other areas of your life. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you do need to take stock of the things that you do well so that you can benefit from them and everything else. If you've learned nothing else from this episode, you've probably learned that having goals, especially if you do them by 3-month periods, you can get a lot done. You just kind of have to keep your head down and keep going and keep going. And eventually that effort will compound and give you real results. As always, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate you, but could you do me one favor? Could you go to Apple Podcast and leave me a positive review? I haven't gotten any reviews since I started the podcast in December, and I really need some that are up to date. So if you could do that, that would really, really help out. And I'm going to go ahead and thank you in advance. Happy Easter if you celebrate, and if not, just have a beautiful day. Musically, Monique. Oh, by the way, I have a PS. You know the music that opens and closes my show? It's called Ordinary Day, and it's from my album with my group, my gospel group, Voices of Praise, and it was written in 2007. And I wrote that with Nicolas Visser, Thomas Drouard, and Didier Ottaviani. Have a listen. Hope you enjoy it.
Today's just an ordinary day, much like the day before. Oh, my eyes are blind, but still my heart can see. Each day there is more in store. Have you ever smelled the flowers in May? Seen a crimson-colored sunrise? Oh, when the birds announce the coming of each new day, it's enough to make you realize. And as the days go by, I see your love in every single living thing. Oh, hey, sense Lord, I thank you every day of my life. Beautiful. All God's creation. What a revelation. How I feel inside. And as the days go by, see a love in every single living thing. Oh, hey, and sensitive in mind to all of this.
With all of that, extraordinary day.
He's just full of miracles. He's just full of miracles.
Take your time.
Take your time and
appreciate your life.
appreciate your life. Take your time and appreciate your life. He is, yes he is, full of miracles. Yeah. Take your time and listen. There's no such thing as an ordinary day, 'cause every day is full of miracles. There's no such thing as an ordinary day. Every day is something new to see. Said there's no such thing as an ordinary, no such thing as an ordinary day. Hey,
Special.
you know there's no such thing as an ordinary day. Everything is such a new thing to see. Open your eyes, yeah, you can fly, yeah. New opportunities, new possibilities. Said there's no such thing. No. There's no such thing, no such thing. Hey, there's no such thing. No such thing. Yeah. You gotta open up your eyes. You gotta stop and take the time to appreciate the beauty of